put me on a plane, so. Sure, I don't need to come back for anything. They can leave me there. They have a beautiful national cemetery there. They got all these wonderful stars. Okay, we're going to try to finish up Matthew 14. I don't know who has Matthew 15, but somebody should be ready for next week. Hopefully we can get through this today. Do we have any announcements to make, Terry?
Well, we're glad Dick Moss went to the VA this morning for some hearing issues, and he survived that, doing good. And Nellie had a bunch all-day tests yesterday at Cleveland, and she and Betty and Phyllis survived. And Burnett seemed to be doing pretty good when Jeannie and I saw them Sunday night. And he's getting, sometimes he gets that drip for 48 hours, and that kind of causes him some pain and stuff. And he was having that Sunday night, but he looked pretty good, all things considered. Amy Rossi is continuing to have a real tough time at the clinic. She had surgery, and then she had some blockage afterwards, and some more blockage yesterday. And also, I think Debbie Rossi goes to the doctor Friday, but they are home now. I don't know how they're doing. I haven't talked to them since Monday morning. Anybody else we need to be aware of?
Keith, would you open us with a prayer, please?
Father, we're grateful and thank you for having us here tonight to hear your word. We thank you for the new blessing we have in Jesus Christ. You died for us to give us a blessing of salvation. And you saw fit into the room, so Jesus, so we can pardon us from our sins. Thank you again for everything we have, and bless those that are on the roads tonight, and bring them home safely. Bless the sick of our family, that be your will, heal and be willing, that you love and heal. And you be asking these prayers in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
I might mention too that Larry Wheeler had been in the hospital with bronchitis, and he's doing better now, but Gail has pleurisy. That's why she wasn't here last Sunday. But she seems to be feeling a little bit better.
Anybody else have any other announcements?
So who has next week?
Whoever has Matthew 15.
Brian has 15.
Brian has 15.
Bob has an updated list. We can't go out and roll.
You keep changing, don't you?
Yeah.
Whenever it's out, just change your name.
Who has 15?
Brian.
Brian.
Alfred. Brian Alfred has 15.
Has he ever taught on Wednesday night?
Nobody said he's one.
Terry's going to make a note of that because he's never done it on Wednesday.
Well, I didn't think he could make it in time for, maybe he's going to make an exception.
Well, I have survived a week with my family, so I'm doing really well. My aunt and uncle were in town from Florida, my mom's brother and my mom, and having them in the house for 7 days was about my limit. And I'm a pretty even-going guy, but it was interesting, and then Monday night everything went awry and I hid, so it was an interesting week, so I'm a little off kilter today, so just kind of keep me on track where I'm going. We're going to go back just a little bit. We'll go back to Matthew 14, 22 and 23. It says, 20, what did I say? 22 and Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And then he had sent the multitudes away. He went up on a mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there. So we kind of talked a little bit about that last week, that Jesus has a feeling like I have right now. A little bit of alone time is a very good thing to have, where you're not having to deal with all the things. And then secondly, the way it seems that this is Jesus' time to talk to his Father, to pray, to relax, and to get himself back on a path where he was headed. So that's what we think he did in there. It says in Matthew 14:24, but the boat was now midway through the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Midway through the sea, that means they're about 3.5 miles out in the Sea of Galilee. Pretty far out. Not something you could probably see. That's about as far as the horizon is starting to go. So that's pretty far out there. And they were tossed by the waves and the wind. I picture this as a small boat. I don't picture this as some huge boat, that's 60 or 70 feet long. I think of it more along the line of a small fishing boat that's maybe 15, 20 feet long, that they're all in. Does anybody have a different thought frame about this boat they're in? Is that what everybody's thinking? It's kind of a small boat that's being tossed?
Well, they had fishing nets. It was that one time it was so full that I thought maybe the boats were at least 25, but
Maybe.
because of the way they describe the fishing nets,
It could be, but at least the boats I've seen and looking at it under history and stuff, most of the fishing boats are small, so they can whip them around and move them easily, but it's still 20 feet, that's not that big a boat yet. It's not like it's 60 feet long or 70 feet long, a huge boat. So they're kind of being tossed around in the water here early in the evening. And 25 it says, now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. The fourth watch of the night, Jesus was walking on water. Fourth watch would be sometime after 3 a.m. in the morning. So it's very late or very early, depending on how you're looking at the night. It's sometime between 3 and I think 6 o'clock, that time frame. So it's very early in the morning. They've been out there for quite a while. I don't know exactly when they left. I don't think it says anywhere what time it was when Jesus put them in the boat to go to sea. But this is very late. They've been tossed around. They're probably pretty well agitated and pretty well beat up, bouncing around. They weren't happy to begin with that Jesus sent them out there by himself without him going with them, and they were a little upset about that. Then we see in 26, and when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It's a ghost." And they cried out in fear. Why do you think they were crying out in fear? Was there a reason? Do you think? Okay, right, that's probably a very good line. They're afraid of ghosts. And I imagine any of us seeing something walking along the water would kind of get you a little rattled. Especially if you're tired. I read several people said that they've been rowing all night. They were tired, they were exhausted, and at that point they might even have thought they're seeing things, or they actually thought they saw a ghost coming up on them. So it's kind of interesting that we're getting this perspective of our disciples out there not having a lot of belief at this point that Jesus was going to come to them.
well, he saw somebody walking on water. I mean, what else could do that? I'd throw me in.
Yeah, I'm sure, it got everybody's attention, yeah. And, you know, and the waves are going up and down, so, you know, you're getting a little bit of an illusion there as they're going. Let's see.
You know, Mark, they didn't have him with them, so they were even weaker. Their faith was, you know, questionable when he was around because they put so much trust in him. And now he's not there and he's their guardian, you know, and what they trust and depend on him, he's not there and they think they see this ghost or angel or whatever is coming towards them. And yeah, their faith is even wavering more than usual. But we shouldn't, you know, if I was out in the boat and I seen someone walking on the water towards me and thought it was a ghost, I'd get pretty scared too.
And but see, I think today we're a little more, we probably think, well, what kind of magic trick is this? Or is somebody walking on stilts? Or, you know, I think we're a little more skeptical today than, I mean, we've seen people in movies walk on water and you know, devices. And Jeannie and
Well, we've also got all this cultural and, you know, things about ghosts. It's interesting to me that that's how they identified this site that they'd never seen before. It would be interesting to me to know what was the Jewish belief about ghosts. You know, I mean, why is it that what they saw made them say, oh, it's a ghost? You know, I mean, I know why. I think I know why any of us might think that. I mean, we have all these associations since childhood about representations of ghosts and all that. But you know, that's something that, I don't know that there's all that much said about that in the scriptures, especially something that could be seen.
They call it the Holy Ghost.
Right, but
So it must be, I mean, we would never call God a ghost with our visions of a white sheet type up from the inside, but.
more of a spirit for us.
Yeah, right, but they call it the Holy Ghost.
and the Holy Spirit. You know, the Holy Ghost
Maybe
is
it's
the
a
King James
transition.
Version.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's just interesting to me why they identified that as a ghost. Yeah, or even a spirit. I mean, did they associate that with something that was visible?
Okay. I'm reading through it. I'm going to have to do some research because I don't remember reading much about anybody talking about ghosts or spirits or afterlife people coming back in the Bible. There may be, but
The scriptures say God is a spirit, you
Yeah.
know, but
The only thing I can think of is
go ahead, Rob.
the witch indoor calling back the ghost, supposedly. Well, it happened, I mean, you know, but that's weird because the Jews didn't believe in an afterlife, so that's, you know, what's strange about that one.
Don?
Being the subject here, I've read this many times, and every time I read that, why is the time frame so specified in this, for 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock in the morning? Why would they put in the scriptures the time frame?
Well, my thoughts on that as I read through that, I think they were just trying to put, in my mind, it looks like they're trying to give some reasoning behind their exhaustion and their, you know, the problem I have with it is I don't know when they put them in the boat. It might have been 6 in the evening they did it, or midnight. He just says immediately, but it doesn't say, you know, a specific time frame. But I think on this end of it, they're doing it kind of to show the exhaustion. These guys have been out there, and it's late at night, and you know, they want to say, and they don't get real specific, you know, when they say that, it would be sometime from 3 o'clock on, so it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, that time frame. But
3 o'clock in the morning, that is, I don't know.
Yeah.
You also wonder, this makes me think of the post-resurrection appearance, or at least women going to the tomb, and how did they distinguish between seeing an angel and seeing a ghost? And does the word ghost connotate, or what was a ghost something that was negative to them? Was it a bad thing, or was it neutral? Could it be the ghost of a good thing, or the ghost? In this circumstance, they're out in the water and they're fearing for their life. Why is it that they didn't look up and think they saw an angel? Why doesn't it say that? Why does it say ghost? So they must associate
The fear with the ghost.
Yeah, something, and that, like Jeannie said, like you said, maybe there's, we know the Greek culture, they're Poseidon, and, think of all the people that died at sea, that, you never know if the waters were stirred up to bring back their ghost in a storm. But the Hebrews didn't always think like the Greeks did, but yet there was a mixing of cultures there as well.
Well, also in Deuteronomy 18:11, it talks about you should not be one who conjures spells or mediums or a spiritualist or one who calls up from the dead. So it was definitely anti-Jewish for someone to call up a ghost. But
Yeah, that's kind of, I just wondered what their,
Yeah. Phyllis?
Hey, in Job 9:8, this is talking about God, and the referencing back to the when the disciples saw Jesus walking on the sea. And Job chapter 9, verse 8 says, He alone spreads out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. And it's translated out works, the walks on the sea, on the heights of the sea. Waves translated out heights, literally.
so if they would have known their Job better.
They'd have just been a little more well-read.
It sounds like it's a prophecy of Jesus doing it, though.
Yeah, it sort of does.
Ray brought up, I was going to bring up the witch event who brought Samuel back from the dead. Albeit very briefly, Samuel wasn't happy about it, but Ray already brought that stuff.
Well, and the other thing that I think of when I look at that, maybe they're thinking of a ghost or a spirit a little more because they think of angels as being up here, not down here on the ground. It's just kind of, in my frame, that if they were an angel, you'd think he'd be flying through the sky. At least that's the way I would think of it, not necessarily walking on water. But Jesus did say he was coming to join them, so I mean, maybe it shouldn't have been so much of a surprise. I'm sorry.
Then you have that after almost immediately, when Jesus dies on the cross and the veil of the temple is torn, and there, Matthew, I'm reading here in verse 52, the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised, and coming out of the tombs, after his resurrection, they appeared in the holy city. They entered into the holy city and appeared to many. So maybe it is a world where unnatural things are happening as part of the declaration of the power of God.
That just made me think of Herod being afraid of Jesus as the return of John the Baptist, though.
Like right now, I think I'm hearing voices.
I know I am. But I have a 7-year-old, so I'm always hearing voices. Let's move on to 27. In 27 it says, But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid. So, they had to be amazed at what they just saw. They're seeing Jesus walk to them. Even though he said he was going to meet them and somewhere or another he was going to get to them. But what amazes me in this part, even after Jesus says this, the disciples want to test him. Immediately they test him. You go into 28, it says, and Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water.
I can just see him. Like, the Jew.
Why do you immediately challenge the Lord to prove to you that he's the Lord? I mean, at a point, he's walking on water. At a point, you're going to ride. And once again, it doesn't say he was in front of the boat or he was 10 feet, but he must have been pretty close, because we know Peter walks on water for only a couple of steps and then Jesus grabs him. But why do immediately they challenge him to prove that he's the Lord?
Well, and it's even magnified by, Jeannie just said, with her body language, like Peter standing there with his hands on his hips. I doubt it. They're in the midst of a storm, and whatever size the boat is, they're being overwhelmed by the waves. So he's probably, maybe they're tied to the boat somehow, or hanging onto the mast, or whatever happens to be there. But it's just all the more amazing that he would have come up with this test.
Yeah. I would have said more like,
if it's really you, Lord, hurry to the boat as fast as you can.
yeah, would you please jump in the boat with us? We're in big trouble.
Yeah.
But immediately Peter challenges him and gives the Lord a test. So what does the Lord do? The Lord goes, so he said, come. And when Peter had come down off the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink and cried out, saying, Lord, save me. So,
Was this before or after when Jesus was sleeping in the boat? And they said, Lord, wait. So they
see, I'm not sure, because
Different.
the disciples, and I tried to research some of this, but from what I've gotten, this is only like 6 months into his, into his preaching. So he's very young into the preaching, and the disciples are very young to him. In the next paragraph, it's going to show that once again that they're very young. I'm thinking this was before the boat, but I may be wrong.
I think that too.
It was before? Yeah.
Plus, I got a footnote on the test of Peter. Everybody thinks it was a test, but you can't test that.
No.
Matthew 4:7 said, you should not test the Lord your God. This is where Satan was trying to test Jesus and get him to change. And so it wasn't a test, it was his faith. He was the only one in that boat. My footnote says that questioned Jesus walking on the water. It wasn't his test, it was his faith that he was questioning himself.
Okay.
I
understand what you're saying, Keith.
Why did he lose his position on the water? Because he took his eyes off Jesus and didn't focus on him. And that was the power of God working through him. And Matthew didn't believe it.
Well, it says he got afraid. As soon as he got afraid, he started sinking in the water.
He started paying attention to the waves. He started paying
It's
attention.
paying sense of the Lord. Any other comments there?
So, was it just his sheer faith that made him be able to walk on the water for a couple of steps?
Like the waves, his faith wavered.
Yeah, right.
I know this, you can't take this actually chronologically, but the stilling of the storm is in Matthew 8:23 through about 25. And if it is chronologically, the ones before this, but, there's no way to know for sure.
Matthew 8,
8, 23, 24, and
It
25.
sure seems like if that happened first,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you would think if that, the situation of the boat had happened first, they would already had this built into them.
But you know-
But even if it's the other way around, they didn't have any faith even in that when they were
Right.
questioning. The disciples were not perfect people by any means. So they, as we see here, and as we go through it, it shows that they are anything but perfect. They're just like us, just people like us.
Well, in another chapter, he's going to feed the multitude again. They just question,
Right.
how are you going to do that?
Well, I'll jump ahead just a second here, but at this point, at least the way it sounds to me, that the disciples really weren't believing as hard as we would like to think they should have been. Very shortly, he's going to perform his third miracle when they go ashore. And sick are going to come and they're going to be healed. And he did this little bit of out on the water and showed them that miracle. But they seem that, let me just skip ahead just a little bit here and then we can jump back. It says in 33, when you read 33, it says, then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. So this is the first time the disciples as a group that I can find accepted the Lord as their Savior and the Son of God. I couldn't find anywhere prior to that. Somebody may know someplace. But this seems like it's the first place that they've accepted that he is the Son of God. And he fed the 5,000 plus. He walked on water. He calmed the waves. He brought them to shore. He healed the sick when he was feeding the 5,000 and the multitudes he healed. When he came ashore again, he healed the sick. And it seems like, I mean, once again, like I said last 2 weeks ago, I would hope I was much more, I have a lot more to go by here. They were learning as they were going, and I had this wonderful book that tells me what everything was. I would hope that at this point, after seeing these 3 miracles, I'm in. You know, I know this is the Son of God. I know he's our Lord. But it still seems like, and we see it continually, they seem to waver. Whether it's the fear of dying or being killed or all of the above things that happen to the disciples as we go along here. But they still seem to be wavering. And at this point, I think they're very young in their belief of the Lord. So, comments?
I mentioned in a sermon that I had on this before camp that to me one of the great miracles was that here they are 4 miles in the middle of the Sea of Galilee and there's a storm raging and Jesus finds them. You know, notwithstanding that he walks to them on water, but the fact that he would know where they are itself is testimony to the fact that he's God, in my mind. I mean, how do you stumble onto a boat 4 miles, you know, where it's your disciples that are crying out? So it's pretty amazing all the way around. I mean, I think it says on numerous times that they were slow to understand. And how could they not be? I mean, Jesus is breaking every law of nature, and he's not only that, but sometimes they're totally befuddled when they think he ought to flex his muscles and break other laws of nature, that he's contrite and or humble and not Superman. You know, he just, so it had to be confusing.
Right.
Actually, I was going to say something, but now that you... called on me. Well, you know, we're making them sound like they're bad people. Taking our own lives and looking at maybe our personal relationships. How many times have we been in a relationship, you know, and we wonder what the other person feels, you know? We're waiting for them to say, I love you, or whatever, even though all the signs are there, you know? And that's what they're waiting for, is for him to say, yes, I am the Messiah. And, you know, just think of our own lives, and, you know.
Well, once again, they were just humans like we are. And they didn't have the opportunity to have the guideline that we have now. That we can look at this, and if the situation was reversed, we'd probably have done basically the same thing. Been very questionable about all these things, even though taking those fish and that bread would have really set me back a little bit. I would have looked at that and thought, boy, that was real. And then healing the sick, because people are dying, to have all kinds of things healing them. And then he walks on water out to the boat. I'm thinking, well, this is somebody who is somebody.
Well, that goes back to the one lesson I had where John the Baptist and his disciples to Jesus asked if he was, you know, the Messiah. So, you know, even John the Baptist, you know, I'm not going to judge what he actually felt here, but, you know, he even sent to say, tell us.
And he was inspired. I mean, to some extent, and he had to still ask, are you the one, or should we look for another?
And once again, with Peter here, I think we just had another teaching moment. The Lord has taught the disciples very plainly that their faith isn't as strong as it should be. He goes, oh, you of little faith, why do you doubt? So I think this was another teaching moment. The Lord uses a lot of these different situations as teaching moments to teach his disciples about him. I mean, there could have been other ways to do it, but the Lord chose this way. I mean, there's, Terry, you kind of hit on it, where he could have done something much more flamboyant. Could he have not? Could he have not brought down the 10,000 angels and crushed the Roman Empire and told Jerusalem this was... He could have done all these things. There was nothing that would limit him from doing that. But he chose to be humble and to be a person and to sacrifice himself for us. And he chose this way. And I think, once again, this with Peter is just another one of those teaching moments where the disciples are learning a little bit more. Because as soon as Jesus got into the boat, what happened? The seas calmed down. Everything got quiet again. And they were safe because the Lord was with them again. But the Lord really never left them, did he? He never just left them on their own. He was still with them, just like he's with us today. He's never left us. We may not be understanding of that all the time, but he is always with us. Any other questions yet? Comments?
Why does Mark's gospel, and John's for that matter, not include the story of Peter walking on the water?
You know,
They tell the same story otherwise.
Yeah, and that's the only one that they leave out. And one of the comments I read,
the tradition says that Mark wrote the Gospel of Peter. I mean, the Gospel of Mark was written based on the testimony of Peter. So unless, I guess there you could say, well, Peter doesn't want to appear to be bragging or whatever, but Matthew records it, but John's Gospel and Mark's do not tell about it. And that's kind of one of those things that you don't think that got lost. I mean,
you wouldn't think something.
I would think that they would be telling that story for, unless they stopped telling it because Peter sank, you know, and he was
They didn't want to show their weakness. Phyllis first, and then
I just wondered, this is the Sea of Galilee, because I was trying to find on the map where Genesaret
The Gennesaret is another name
It's
for
another name
the
for
Sea of Galilee, but it's right in the north corner, north section, one of the narrower sections of the Sea of Galilee.
And yeah, it's interesting because talking about how it's not martyred John, because I said, you think that maybe in Mark at least Peter didn't mention because he doesn't want to be embarrassed. But then you're like, but wait, then there was also that part that mentioned later on where he denies Jesus, which is a very, very dark or different type of embarrassment. But you think he wanted to skip that, but the reason they wouldn't skip that per se then was because I think, in John's gospel, it appears that John actually followed after a while too and saw what was going on there as well, but I'm not sure why it's not.
It's an interesting question why one.
Maybe it just wasn't.
Like I said, I wish I'd have brought it. I had a commentary of a young man who did a lot of research on it. He talked about it, but I did not bring it. Let's see if I can dig that up. So when Jesus got in the boat, he calmed the sea was calm again, they headed towards shore. In 33 they talk about, truly you are the Son of God. So at this point, the disciples for the very first time have accepted him as the Son of God. They've seen these three miracles already, the healing of the sick, the feeding of the thousands, and walking on water and calming the sea. So at this point, they're starting to gel as a group, thinking about that you are truly the Son of God. In 34 it says, when they had crossed over and came to the land of Gennesaret, is that Gennesaret? Is that close?
Gennesaret is usually what I've heard.
Okay. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent out to all the surrounding region, brought to him all of those who were sick. And they begged him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as they touched it, they were made perfectly well. So Jesus has performed another miracle. And it seems like the people know who Jesus is. They're flocking to him everywhere and wanting to be with him because he's curing the sick and the ill. And he's performing these miracles. But it seems like, once again, as we go here, they start to waver once again. So that's kind of down the road here. It also said that there weren't many doctors in this area. This area had a description here of the area where they landed. It was a small district, 4 miles long and 3 miles wide on the west side of the Sea of Galilee. It was a very fruitful and lovely area, it says. So it's a beautiful area. But once again, they have no medical doctors or anything in the area, so here comes Jesus. He comes ashore, and once again, the multitude surround him. And this time, all they want to do is what? Touch the hem of his garment. That's all they want. And everyone who touches the hem of his garment is healed. So Jesus, once again, is performing miracles and moving along in his teachings of who he is and more about his Father. So we made it to the end. Do you have any comments?
Yeah.
Shoot.
The other incident where Jesus was in the boat already with his disciples. This is when the storm came up and he was sleeping.
Correct.
And that's before this other incident where Peter walks in the water. This is before that because when they woke Jesus, says, help us. And this is where he says, well, you have little faith. And that's when he talked to the seas and the waves, calmed them, and they stopped. And then he said, who is this man that the waves and the seas listen to him? That's a different situation.
Well, yeah, and once again, though, and see, I have a problem, it's kind of hard. Maybe somebody's much better at doing things chronologically. Nico, chronologically, it's hard to pin it down. Any other comments?
What's your point, Keith, that if that would have happened before
This is,
then they would have believed on this case?
again, question of the faith.
Are they the same people? They call them disciples, not apostles. They have been just other followers.
Good point.
Two different
It
instances.
could have been different.
Also,
That's my opinion.
what difference does it make which one, I mean, why, if that one, if this one happened first, then why are they dumbfounded when it happens that he stills the sea?
Because they might be different people.
We need a little faith.
Doesn't necessarily, they're not the apostles, they're his disciples, which, you know,
Well,
could
there is
correspond.
Well, that's, yeah.
Well,
Well, they took a boat before.
And they
He
were
wasn't walking on
fishing.
the water. Something
Yeah, they definitely weren't the fishermen, because the fishermen were used to the waves and the storms, right?
Yeah, real quick, the 1 and 8, I definitely believe has to be first, because they said, what kind of man is this? And then Peter, in this chapter, says, truly this is the Son of God, so, you know, their faith is grown from, who is this, that this is the Son of God.
Any comments? Thank you. Stephen, do you have a comment, or are you ready? Okay, go ahead.
Also, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think some of the gospel writers don't use disciples and apostles the same, or one uses apostles the way the other uses disciples and vice versa. So it can be slightly confusing sometimes if they're referring to the main 12 or to his followers in general, but that's the point there. So this Sunday, it's the first Sunday of October. It's a special offering Sunday, right? Because there's 5 Sundays in October. We are not having a covered dish luncheon this Sunday, so I'm sorry if you were looking forward to that. That's being moved to the 9th, which is when you have Friends and Family Day and the Fall Festival. There's flyers back there. Make sure to send some out. If you haven't so far, invite your friends and family and other people. Anything else?
We have the church on Sunday night,
No.
the first Sunday?
We never do on the first Sunday, Keith.
Yeah, but that's.
We haven't for 10
It's still-
years.
That's transferred to the ninth,
Well, it's still the first Sunday.
on the ninth.
No, but the first Sunday, but even in the summer, we still don't meet that first. When we're having coverage luncheons, it's still the first Sunday. The second is still the Sunday is still the first second. It's still the first Sunday in October. We're just moving the coverage luncheons to the next week. Okay. Anything else?
Are you going to leave Master of the Tempest?
That would be the perfect one, Stephen.
Who's the master?
Do we have enough people to sing that tonight?
Probably not.
Just go with what you had, Stephen.
I don't know if I have the voice for the rest. That was great tonight. 449, number 449. Can you play the purpose afterwards? Thank you. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. When I feel afraid, think I've lost my way, still you're there, I
Father, we thank you for this our day of life you've given to us. Thank you for this time that we can come study a portion of your word. We thank Mark for the preparation he did to bring us the lesson from Matthew chapter 14. Help us to meditate upon what we talked about tonight, meditate upon the scriptures, and help us do what we can, Father, to go out into the world and share the good news about Jesus that we come in contact with and we have influence them. Father, we ask you to help us to always stand for the truth, to always put you first in our lives, and not let things of this world come before you. Father, we ask you to be with all those who are numbered, who are physically sick and shut in, those who are suffering from different illnesses, and it is your will. Help them to return back to a portion of health, and if not, give them comfort and peace in their last days. Father, we also with all those who are spiritually sick, those of our family and friends who we work with and come in contact with, who are weak in faith and may have never obeyed the gospel. We pray that they'll realize their conditions are not right with you and will want to be right with you, and help us to encourage them and to study with them from your word. Father, we are imperfect creatures. We each have some sins that we do commit. We do fall short of your glory, Father. We ask you to forgive us of those sins and help us to overcome the temptation that leads to sin by studying your word daily and applying our lives. Father, be with us and guide us in all that we do. We thank you so much for Jesus, Father, who really got us to be our Savior. We thank you for hearing our prayers. We thank you for answering our prayers. Be with us this night. Watch over us and keep us in your care. We ask this prayer through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
One more thing I forgot to mention too, weather permitting, there is a hot dog roast at Tammy Haney's this Saturday night as well. There's information back there.
6 o'clock, I think,
6
was it.
o'clock, okay.
Mom.